Welcome to Bellydance Floor Moves. This class is a mixture of conditioning and stretching, as well as some beautiful belly dance movements. This class helps condition the core muscles, which helps with dancing with grace, and fluidity of belly dancing. This can work as a fun class if you've never done belly dance moves on the floor before, or a fun conditioning class if you have experience with belly dancing on the floor. Overview of this class. Starting with simple stretches on the floor, moving into some conditioning moves, with some belly dance moves weaved in there, and ending with some simple stretches on the floor. Optional props for this class are optional yoga mat, pillow, and/or a scarf. No hip jingles needed for this class. So if you're ready, feel free to join me on your mat and your pillow in Hero's Pose. So one option is to put a pillow down and sit on the pillow. Otherwise, feel free to sit on the heels in Hero's Pose. And getting started with the wrist stretch, interlacing the fingers, doing an infinity symbol in front of the chest, breathing in, breathing out, bringing both hands out to the sides, inhaling to the midline, exhale to the sides, bringing the hands down, doing a few shoulder circles, starting with going to the back, nice and slow. And then going to the front, nice and slow. Feel free to release the pillow, making one's way to tabletop. Hands right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. Feel free to watch for the demo for the scapular push-up. So I invite us to do this together. Keeping the back of the neck nice and long, in line with the shoulders. Think about pressing all 10 fingers in the palm into the mat. Think about pressing the floor away as you press the hands into the mat. Coming back to center, doing a few cat-cows. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back. Flowing with your breath here. Doing another round like this. Coming back to tabletop and breathe. And next is a tabletop twist. If you can, inhale left hand to the sky. Bringing it back down, switching sides, right hand up, looking towards the sky. Exhale down. This time doing that again, this time adding a thread the needle. Bringing the left hand under the right arm, releasing the head and neck gently. Breathe. Coming back to tabletop, going to the other side. Right hand lifts. Exhale, right hand through, releasing the head and the neck gently down. Taking a few breaths. Coming back to tabletop. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Here, doing a simple contracting the belly isolation. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, contract the navel towards the spine. Inhale, filling the belly. Exhale, contracting the navel towards the spine. Try to keep the spine nice and long, doing that again. Returning to a natural breath. Lengthening through the spine. Getting ready for tabletop side stretch. beginning to look over the left shoulder towards the left foot, and then exhale, going to the other side. And continue like this, alternating, flowing with the breath from side to side. And when you're ready, coming back to center, going to cat-cow compass. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, looking over the left shoulder, rounding to cat, looking over the right shoulder. Inhale, cow, looking over the left shoulder, round cat, right shoulder. Seeing if you can do this a few times, flowing with the breath, in a circle with the head and the hips, and then switching directions. Seeing if you can smooth the movement out, circling the head and the hips simultaneously. Coming back to tabletop. Please watch the demo for wide chest scoops. I invite us to do this together from tabletop. Bringing the hands out wider than shoulder distance, bringing the chest towards the left, bringing the chest towards the floor, sliding to the right, lift up, starting a circle here. Keep going. So now going to the other directions, bringing the chest towards the right, and lower the chest towards the ground, sliding the chest towards the left, and then coming back up slowly, and then coming back to center, coming to child's pose to take a few breaths. Coming up, and think about coming to tabletop but keeping the forearms down. Tucking the front of the pelvic bone forward, doing a few pelvic tucks here. Exhale, tuck, engage the core. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, tuck, engage the core. Inhale, coming back to center. Doing this again. Breathe. Here, doing a hip lift motion a few times. Bringing the left hip towards the left rib. Coming back to center. Bringing the right hip towards the right rib. Trying to use the oblique here. Coming back to center. Keep alternating. Can use the hip to help here. Coming back to center. Right side hip lift, trying to engage the oblique. See if you can feel the core initiate the movement if you can. Coming back to center. And then please watch for the demo for the next move here. Chakravasana. So I invite us to do this together, coming to tabletop. Round to cat, bringing the hips back to child's pose. Doing that again. Elbows bend, cow, round the back, and back to child's pose. Elbows bend, cow, as you arch through cat and back to child's pose. Doing that again. Coming to child's pose to take a few breaths. Wonderful, coming back to tabletop. So here I invite us to do a little watery flow with the spine. Trying to keep the hands where they are, but bring the chest right over the left hand. And then bringing it towards the right. Shifting from side to side like this a few times. Coming back to tabletop. Breathing in this long, lengthened tabletop. Going back to that hip lift we were doing earlier. So just doing that hip lift a few times on each side. So after you've got the hip lift going, then feel free to sway the chest from side to side like I was just doing before the hip lift. And then gently allowing the head to move to bring one ear towards the same shoulder, and then the other. So allowing the spine to just sway with the movement naturally here. Coming back to center, back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. And breathe. And then bending the knees, pedal out the feet, take a few breaths here. Coming back to that hip lift motion we were just doing. Trying to initiate the movement with the oblique. And if not, feel free to shake the booty here. Coming back to down dog. Bringing the feet closer together, setting up for three-legged dog. Lifting the right leg up to three-legged dog. If you can, bend that knee, opening the hip up to the side. And if you like, rotating that ankle a few times. Coming back to three-legged dog. And then down dog. Feet together. Going to the other side, lifting the left leg up and back for three-legged dog. Seeing if you can bend into that knee, opening the hip, and rotating that ankle if you can. Coming back to three-legged dog. Exhale, down dog. And breathe. So from down dog, coming back to tabletop to watch for the next demo, knee dancing. So I'm sitting on a pillow for this. Feel free to use a blanket or a pillow if you need to. Level 2, knee dancing hip circles. I invite us to do this together. Level 1, just lifting the hips up, knee dancing. Might want to bring the knees slightly out wider than hips distance for kneeling hip circles. Level 2, lifting up, going to the left, front, right, and back, going around in a circle, smoothing it out, and then going to the other direction, right, forward, left, and back, right, forward, left, and back, smoothing it out. Wonderful. And please watch for the demo for the next move. This is a kneeling back, back, up, up. And if your knees feel comfortable, you can just feel free to use your yoga mat. If you'd like to use a pillow or a blanket under the knees, feel free to. I invite us to do this together. This is a kneeling back, back, up, up. There's several variations we can do with this. Hands on the hips. Tucking the tailbone under. Engage the core. Lengthening through the spine. back, back, up, up. Inhale, back, back. Exhale, up, up. Back, back, up, up. Another option is doing a little hip twist. Twist, twist. Bringing one hip towards the opposite corner of the room and then the other. And then bringing the arms out for bird arms. Doing a little shoulder punch. Bringing one head of the shoulder forward and then the other. Punch, punch. Bringing the hands down to the hips, lower back, back, lift up, up. Twist, twist, punch, punch. Optional keeping bird arms. Back, back, up, up. Twist, twist, punch, punch. So here I invite one to come to hero's pose, either on the pillow or off. Going for a neck stretch here. Bringing the left ear towards the left shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, rolling to the other side. Continue like this for a few times. Exhale to tuck and roll. And then coming back to center, circling the shoulders back, nice and slow. And then circling the shoulders forward. Coming back to center. And breathe. So here I invite us to come onto the bottom, soles of the feet on the ground, knees bent. Hands are 6 to 12 inches behind the booty. Lift the chest. Inhale, lift the hips to reverse table. Exhale, lower back down. And you can do that again if you like. And then coming back down. Feel free to watch for the demo for the next move. Reverse plank. Feel free to do this with me, or you can go back to reverse table. Hands still about 6 to 12 inches behind the booty. Extend the legs out long and point the toes. Inhale to lift the hips. Exhale, hips down. If you want to do that again, you can. Inhale, lift, trying to press the toes towards the mat. Releasing the hips back down. And breathe. Bringing the legs out long if they're not there already. So from here, pressing on the gas. And then the brake. Externally rotate the feet out laterally. Press on the gas. Then the brake. And externally pointing the feet out laterally. Doing that again. Wonderful. From here, I invite you to come back to hero's pose. Doing those wrist stretches we did at the beginning of class. Interlacing the fingers in front of the chest. Doing an infinity symbol. Releasing each hand, bringing it out in front of the shoulders. Doing single wrist stretches, bringing it in towards the midline and then out towards the sides for an infinity symbol. And then release the hands back down to the knees. And here you can watch for the demo for the next move. Bridge and single leg bridge. Bridge, lift and lower. Single leg bridge, lift and lower. So here I invite you to make your way onto the back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. If doing those regular bridges, feet about hips distance apart. Hands are out near the hips. Lifting the hips up and lower. You can either continue like this, or if you want more of a challenge, coming to single leg bridges, bringing the feet closer together, lifting one leg up towards the sky, lifting the hips up and lower, doing 8 on each side. If doing regular bridges, doing about 15. If you're doing those single leg bridges, feel free to switch. Release down and breathe. The next move is a reverse crunch. Feel free to watch for the demo. I invite you to bring the legs up over the hips, hands near the hips. Lengthen through the legs, point through the toes if you can. Inhale, lift the legs up, exhale, lower. So think about bringing the navel to the spine as you tuck the pelvis to lift the hips, and lower slowly. One more. Release the feet down and breathe. And feel free to watch for the demo for the next move, TikToks. If you'd like a more detailed description of this one, feel free to watch my Shakti Yoga video on my channel as well. Single, single, double, double. Single, single, double, double. I invite us to do this together. For TikToks, single, single, double, double. Single, single, double, double. Single, single, double, double. Doing this one more time. And then bringing the legs out wide to straddle, doing a little leg jiggle if you like. Bringing the hands to the outside of the thighs, bringing the legs together, bending the knees, bringing the feet back to the ground and breathe. Please watch for the demo for the belly wave undulation. If you already know how to do a belly wave undulation, feel free to practice that on the floor. Making your way onto the back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. I invite you to bring a hand to your belly to feel those 3 areas: solar plexus, 1 inch above the belly button, and 1 or 2 inches below the belly button. Imagine the belly is like a balloon for a moment, and imagine pushing air into the belly to fill the balloon, and then trying to isolate those 3 sections, pushing from inside of the belly out. So push and feel each of these areas, area 1, 2, and 3, and we can start by pushing, so invite us to do this together. So I encourage you to try to feel the belly here. So first going to the solar plexus, 1 inch above the belly button, and 1 or 2 inches below the belly button. So think about pushing, 1, 2, 3, and then contract the belly muscles in those areas. 1, 2, 3. So push, push, push. Contract, 1, 2, 3. And when you can, begin to speed it up. So push, push, push. Contract, contract, contract. So when you feel the end of the pushing, start contracting at the top again. If you can, release the hand. Seeing if you can allow it to flow smoothly, like a wave in the ocean. Push, 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 contract, contract, contract. Push, 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 contract, contract, contract. And when you're ready, feel free to take a break and just breathe. And here you can watch for the demo for the next move. Bridge undulations. Optional bonus lift with the heels. Option 1 is a bridge undulation. Undulating down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Level 2 is lifting the hips, opening the knees out to the sides, lowering the hips back down, coming back to center. And level 3 is a butterfly bridge with the heels lifted, opening the knees out to the sides and lowering the hips partially down, coming back to center and lifting the hips back up. So I invite us to do this together, seeing what level you'd like to do here. So starting with setting up the bridge, feet about hips distance apart, hands near the hips. Inhale to lift the hips up, and then slowly lower vertebrae by vertebrae. If this is enough for you, feel free to stay here. Maybe moving into level 2. Inhale to lift the hips up, exhale to open the knees out to the sides. Lower the hips, bringing the knees back to center. Continuing like this. And if you're able to lift the heels up throughout the move, then you can try that. Lifting the hips up, opening the knees out to the sides, bringing the hips partially down, bringing the knees back to center, lifting up, open the knees out to the sides, lowering the hips halfway down, bringing the knees back to center, and flowing with your breath here. I really like the butterfly bridge, so I'm flowing with this variation. But feel free to find the variation that suits you best today. So whenever you're ready, lower back down. Setting up for windshield wipers. Cactus the arms out. For windshield wipers, coming onto the back, bringing the soles of the feet on the ground about mat's distance apart. Bringing the hips about an inch to the left, and the knees can go to the right. And breathe. Bringing the knees back up, hips come 1 to 2 inches to the right now, and knees can go to the left, can readjust if you need to. And breathe. Coming back to center. Keeping both knees bent. Bringing the right foot up. If you have a scarf or a strap, bringing that around the ball of the right foot. Bringing the foot up towards the sky for single leg stretch. And if you don't have a scarf, feel free to grab onto the hamstring or the calf, whatever's available for you today. From here, bending into that knee, setting up for reclining pigeon on this side. Feel free to release the scarf. Breathing into sensation. Release both feet down. And then bringing the scarf or the strap to the ball of the left foot. Bringing that towards the sky for a single leg stretch. And once again, if you don't have a scarf or a strap, just grabbing onto the hamstring or the calf. And then releasing the scarf, setting up for reclining pigeon on this side now. Finding sensation here. So if you need to readjust a little bit to feel where the stretch is here, that's fine. Curling both knees into the chest. Bringing the hands to the knees like little oranges. Doing a few circles here to massage the low back. And switch direction. So I invite you to make your way to one side to come to an easy seated position. Thank you so much for joining me for this belly dance floor moves workout. I hope you come back and keep dancing. So much love and light to you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.